Welcome to Wax Off. My name is Robina Rayasat and I'm a hearing aid audiologist. I'll be talking through our earwax removal videos, so let's see some wax. This patient, let's call him Bron. Bron is the lord of his high garden who had his earwax removal carried out at the end of last year elsewhere and returned to his high garden with a huge hole in his eardrum. When I saw Bron last year after his perforation, this blockage wasn't there, so I was able to view the perforation very easily. But today it is completely blocked up with very hard skin and earwax. I've used a very tiny amount of oil to loosen the edge of the very hard earwax and keratin, ensuring the oil doesn't go any deeper to the perforated eardrum. At the same time, I need the wax to soften enough as I don't want to cause any further damage with the sharp edges of the very dry earwax. Get ready, there is something lurking behind this earwax that you will find very interesting. So as I'm starting in the area where there is most lubrication from the oil, if I can get this area away, I'm hoping it will lift the whole thing away in one go. It's quite deep and has taken on the rounded shape of the ear canal. There is a lot of glare here because the light is reflecting off the slightly narrowed entrance because it's somewhat collapsed. The hardened, solidified, moulded wax is coming out and then it slips back into the ear canal. So I gently go back in and open up the ear canal and suction it out. And look at that. A very long interconnected piece of keratin and earwax. A small piece has just broken off there. Now, because it's so narrow, you'll see that it's gone back into the ear canal, and there it is out. I would estimate this long piece of earwax to be about at least 2.5 centimeters in length in total, so it was pretty long. Now back in and behind all of the wax that came out, you can see that there is another piece of wax. But you'll know that this is not a normal looking piece of wax. It has a pattern of some sort on it, which immediately makes me believe we have some form of spores developed on the wax, which have now dried up and created this pattern. I would say possibly mould. Now it does fall back in because it's so hard. And when I go back in, immediately it attaches to the end of the probe, and you can see a close-up of the spores on the surface with a white fuzzy area just at the bottom of the wax. And I do have to be very, very careful trying to remove this, again because of those jagged edges. Could cause more damage to that perforation, and obviously the eardrum is very delicate. Attaching to the softest, most lubricated part again, and as I lift, the underneath of the wax you can see has a very white fluffy appearance, which isn't a good thing to see. It is a white fungus overgrowth in the ear canal. Obviously, until we test this, we really don't know what it is, but it's definitely some form of white fungus, generally termed as otomycosis, and also I think the patterned layer has some form of mould spores which have dried up. And I've frozen the frame here to show you the mould spore pattern on one side, which is now all dried up, and the white fungus is really reflecting the light of the endoscope, almost lighting up. And here's another view of it. Back in, and here you can see the huge hole in the eardrum and the landmarks behind the eardrum, which we don't usually get to see easily through the eardrum. I want to see if I can get the remaining bits of hard wax. Now as I go back in, you can see how loose the entrance of the ear canal is, and the end of the probe wants to suction that up as I'm re-entering. One piece at the top comes off, but there is still some which is remaining on there, which is actually very stuck on. It's very hard, and it's connected through a layer of keratin, but you can almost hear the end of the endoscope probe pinging off the surface of the very dry wax and keratin. And here's the final piece of that very hard wax coming off. Now I'm going to attempt to get the furry area just on the top edge of the actual perforation, because I didn't want it to fall off into the middle ear and cause further problems. But because this is on a very sensitive part of the eardrum, which is already perforated, I managed to move some of it, but the patient moved just here because it was quite deep, and therefore I decided to leave the remainder and let the GP or ENT deal with that. Now I'm removing the small amounts of keratin and oil at the entrance of the ear canal. This is where the oil actually reached up to. And a tiny piece there. So here is the final shot of the left ear, understandably red. Now Bron was referred to the doctor again after this procedure, and I will keep you updated when I have any further news of his condition and if he has been sent for a tympanoplasty, which is a repair to the eardrum, usually using the patient's own skin graft. So thank you for watching Wax Off episode 30 today. It's only one ear today, I'm afraid. I have to admit that I was so amazed with what was coming out of Bron's left ear that I got completely distracted from showing you the right ear. But I can confirm that the right ear was clear with an intact eardrum and no procedure was needed on this side. If you're liking my videos, do hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Peace out, and I will see you in the next one.